All right, everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really pleased to have you here for part of our series on college prep. And we have some resident experts here with us to walk us through the process of finding a good college fit and planning the process of applying for college. So I'm going to hand it over to Aisha to introduce, our topic for today and get us going.
Thank you so much, Chris. Hello, everyone in virtual land. My name is Aisha Alexander. I'm sure you've seen me in multiple videos for the Phil Teen Center. And as Chris was saying, today we are going to talk about college fit and planning and getting you ready to choose your best college. That is very important in the process of college prep, is understanding what college you want to go to. And hopefully we will give you some tips today to help you with that process. All right, so let's get started. So let's talk about selecting a college and why college fit is important. Maybe not. I'm like, oh, Chris, we need to stop already. All right, ladies, let's do this. We're going to keep it simple. Okay. Sorry, guys, we were having technical difficulties. I don't know why. All right, so we'll do this.
How it goes sometimes.
Ask yourself a couple questions. We're going to keep it simple. Let's ask yourself a couple questions. How far would you want to be from home? Think about that. Do you want to be close to home? Do you want to be away from home? Is having a small college environment important to you? Are you okay with having a larger college environment with a lot of people in it? Do you learn better? Think about your classroom size. Do you learn better in a smaller classroom size with like more one-on-one attention, individualized attention, or like more lecture style? Are you okay with being in a big city, or do you want to be more in the suburbs? These are some questions that you want to start asking yourself when you think about college fit, a college that is going to fit who you are. What type of activities do you want to be involved in? Extracurricular activities. What type of academic programming is available in that college or university that you're thinking about going to? Are there any type of additional features that you may need in order to support your learning environment? Okay. Also, start to think about, as a high school student, what you like most about your high school experience now. Is it, like we said, is it that you get one-on-one attention from your teacher in the classroom? Is it that you enjoy playing sports in your high school? Start to really think about what it is that you like in your high school. And you want to take those factors and apply it to your college fit experience. On the flip side, think about things that you like least about your high school, okay? Is it that it is super crowded or a super big high school? You don't like that. Maybe you want to look at a smaller college instead if you don't like your high school experience as far as it being a larger high school. So you want to start to think about some things that you are interested in and apply them to your college fit experience. So we're going to go more into how you can do each of these things. All right. So let's talk about some college fit factors. We're going to talk about 10 different factors. We're going to talk about the different types of colleges that are available to you. We're going to talk about some admissions criteria that you need to consider when selecting the best fit college for you. Some academic programming. Also, whether or not that college is accredited, that is super important. We're going to go over that. Talk about campus life. The cost of how much that college is, super important. If that college has diversity, the institutional size of that college, the location, retention, and graduation as well. These are 10 different factors to consider when selecting the best college fit for you. All right, so let's dive into college types. There are a few college types that you want to consider when picking your best fit college. First is a college, which is more of a smaller institution, and it typically offers undergraduate degrees. So undergraduate degrees, meaning, that you have an undergraduate degree in marketing or finance or business or whatever you may, engineering, it's going to be an undergraduate degree. Okay. Next, you have your community and junior colleges. How many people are familiar here with CCP? We all should be, right? It's in our resident home of Philadelphia. CCP is considered, or Community College of Philadelphia is considered a community college or a junior college. So what does that mean? That means that it offers 2 years of education, in addition to specialized occupational preparation. So you'll only be in that college for 2 years. I want to rewind. With a college, Chris, how many years are you in a college? As I said, 2 years for community college. How many years would you be in a regular college?
Typically, colleges would be 4 years, right?
Correct. 4 years for colleges. Community colleges and junior colleges are only going to be 2 years. When you come out of that college experience, you'll have what's called an associate's degree. Okay. Many students do continue on to colleges after they have their community college experience. Okay, so they continue on to 4-year institutions after their community college experience. The next thing I want to talk about are what's called HBCUs. These are historically Black colleges and universities. So typically, students want to go to HBCUs, or historically Black colleges and universities, because they want to get a more of a cultural experience. Okay. It is not to say when you go to a HBCU that you're only going to have African-American students that go to that college, but it is a more inclusive learning environment when it comes to diversity. Oh, and I will mention as well that HBCUs are also 4-year colleges. All right, so next up we have liberal arts. So liberal arts colleges are for undergraduate students. They tend to be smaller than universities, and their class sizes tend to be smaller. So remember, we went over the list of questions, right, in the very beginning of this presentation, and we talked about, think about if you want a smaller class size or if you want a larger class size. If you are someone who enjoys a smaller class size, you may want to look at some liberal arts colleges because they do offer that to you. They also offer students a broad range of courses in humanities, social sciences, and sciences. Okay. Students select at least one area of in-depth study, which is their college major in liberal arts colleges as well. All right. So next up, we have technical or professional schools. So let's say that a college is not for you, right? We talked about that. HBCU may not be for you. Community college or liberal arts college. We do have technical or professional schools. So let's start to think about people that may come into your home, right? Your mom's home, your dad's home, your grandmother's home. Let's say, for example, you have a leaky faucet and you cannot turn this faucet off and you have to call a professional in, right, to fix this faucet. Where do you think this professional gets their training from? They get their training from a technical or professional school. So you have to make a clear decision about what it is that you want to study when you go into a technical or professional school. Okay. Whether you want to be carpenter, plumber, Chris, what other things do we have? We have so many specialties out here that you have to get a certification in order to do.
Yeah, I feel like you named some of the main ones that I was thinking of. What about like a mechanic, someone who works on like cars?
Yeah. Mechanic, someone who fixes your car. goes to technical or professional school in order to become that. So definitely have to have a clearer decision of what it is that you want to do coming into a technical or professional school. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about, last but not least, we have universities. So I left that last because universities are very large. And the reason why they are very large is because in addition to undergraduate degrees, you also have graduate degrees that come out of universities. So you're going to have a lot of students that are going to be attending universities. Okay. They offer a greater range of academic choices as well. So let's think about that trade school, right? When you had to know exactly what it is that you wanted to do, and you had to go in, and there might be a limited amount of certifications you can get in a trade school. Or even with liberal arts. Liberal arts was more science-based, right? With universities, it offers more of a larger range of academic choices. So if you're that person that may not know what it is that you want to do, you might want to go in undecided, university may be for you, because they do offer a huge amount of academic choices that you may be able to select from along your educational journey. Okay. Also, they provide more extensive resources. So you have libraries, you have laboratories, you have fine arts, you have athletic facilities. Let's think about it, right? Since we're doing this workshop in Philadelphia, let's think about Temple University. When you drive down Broad Street, you see that Temple University takes up quite a few blocks, right? That is because they offer a large range of academic choices, and those buildings represent each major or each profession that someone is interested in getting involved in. They also have huge libraries. They also have huge athletic facilities, right? That Temple University football, you see them playing football and basketball or whatever it may be. That is why Temple has that, is because it's a university. So it's a larger institution. Also, because it's a larger institution, your class sizes are going to be larger. So you're not going to necessarily have that one-on-one attention as a liberal arts class may offer, or a liberal arts college may offer, or even a smaller college. With a university, the academic setting is more like lecture style. So if you are uncomfortable with sitting in large lecture style, having a teacher talk to you, but talk to hundreds of other students around you, a university may not be something that you want to look into. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, which is interesting fact, some of your classes may actually be taught by graduate students. So with some of the other colleges that I mentioned before, you'll have professors, right? Professional professors that come in, they specialize in the field that you're interested in, and in that particular class, they'll come in and teach you. With universities, you may have a professor that's a professional within that field, or you actually may have a graduate student that teaches you too. So that is something to consider when selecting a university. So I'm going to stop there just to kind of tie all this together. Let's go back and name some colleges, name some community colleges, name some historically Black colleges, so you can get a better sense of tying this all together and actually thinking about, maybe I want to look at a historically Black college because it's more inclusive, or maybe I want to look at a community college. So I just want to throw some names out there to kind of get the juices flowing today, right? And also tie in together all of the different factors that come into selecting your college type. So let's think about a college. What colleges do we know exist within, let's say, Pennsylvania? We'll keep it simple. I'll throw it out there. Nicole, you want to answer that?
Okay, Nicole.
May have the University of Pitt, or you may have Haverford.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Those are colleges, like we said, smaller institutional sizes, but you get undergraduate degrees. I also mentioned the Community College of Philadelphia, smaller class sizes, only 2 years that you attend. Let's do HBCU. We have what, Howard University. So that's not in Pennsylvania, but we have Howard University. We have what, Clark Atlanta. We have Spelman. There are quite a few historically Black colleges and universities. All right, so liberal arts, that's an interesting one. I might actually have to look that up. So liberal arts, Chris, do we know any liberal arts colleges?
You know,
It's like,
this is actually interesting. Because you're the expert, so I'm asking you a question, which is, yeah, I don't know that I'm clear on the difference between just like liberal arts and universities. So,
the difference. So liberal arts, so universities has more of a extensive academic range. So you can go in, you might want to be an engineer, or you might want to be a teacher, right? With liberal arts, they specify on humanities, social sciences, and sciences. So when you go into this particular college, you know that they're only going to have academics that are around humanities, social sciences, and sciences. That's really the difference. That's really the difference. Yeah. And the fact that, like we talked about, in universities, you might have a graduate student teaching you, but in a liberal arts class, you'll have a professor. You won't necessarily have a graduate student teaching you. So that's really kind of like the differences between the two.
Thank you. All that being said, I don't know that I can think of any.
I can't think of any either. I know. Listen, I know Nicole has it because she is amazing at helping her students and with college. And so
you have Swarthmore, Dickinson, and I'm just glad that you brought that up, because that is one of the most confusing things to try to explain to a person. You know, what is a liberal arts college? And to be honest, most students don't even think about asking what that is. They just think of college.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go over this first, is that you understand exactly, like, there is college, but there are different types of colleges and universities right out here. So it gives you a better understanding of what would be a best fit for you. Looking at your current high school experience and saying, hey, I don't like being around a lot of people, so I may not want to go to a university. Or, hey, I might want a larger range of academics, so I may not want to go to a liberal arts college. So hopefully you take some of these tools. You take some of these tools and roll with them and choose your best college. All right. So that was college types. So the next thing we're going to get into is admissions criteria. You definitely want to take that into consideration when it comes to college fit. So what does that mean? You want to look at what is the GPA that college or university is looking for. Okay. Do you have that GPA? When you apply, will you be a competitive student that is applying? Will they'll look at your application and say, hey, we want the student to come to our college or university. Okay. So what is the GPA that they're looking for? What type of standard scores, standardized testing scores are they looking for when it comes to the ACT and the SAT? Okay, so when you take those tests your junior and senior year, do they match up with the college or university that you're interested in? And then also just looking at the application, what is the criteria that the application in itself is looking for? Some colleges or universities are going to ask you to write an essay. Are you ready and are you prepared to write that essay in order to get into that college or university? All right. And there may be other criteria that comes with you getting into that college or university, depending on what type of program you're getting into. Okay. So you definitely want to take admissions criteria into consideration. The next thing you want to do is look at the academic programs that are available within that college or university. We talked a little bit about that when we talked about the college types, right? We talked about some colleges have limited academic programming and some have extensive academic programming. So you definitely want to make sure that you are looking at a college regardless, where it's well respected, that each department is well respected in its discipline, meaning that they have professional professors that have worked within that field that are teaching you, and they have the criteria and curriculum that you're looking for, right? In order to teach you as best as possible for you to come out and be a great teacher or a great engineer or a great mathematician, okay? Whatever career you decide to go into, all right? I've been told by a couple of my professional colleagues that it's okay for you to talk with professors and students within the departments that you are interested in, of the college that you're interested in, okay? LinkedIn is a great tool in order for you to do that, and we'll talk a little bit later about that, about how you can use a student LinkedIn account to actually start to do more research about some colleges and universities that you may be interested in. But it's good to actually have some type of conversation and dialogue with professionals or students that are within that college or university. Also, of course, you want to make sure that you do your research. You want to make sure that you are selecting a college that has competitive curriculum, where students are actually graduating, right? They're not just coming in freshman year and falling off sophomore year. You want to make sure that you do your research about that. And I'm actually going to give you some tools that you can utilize to do that today, to do some research in regards to statistics around matriculation, meaning do students start and do they finish and graduate with that degree that they're looking for? That's very, very important. Also, you want to pick a college or university that will offer you many appealing possibilities, right? So for example, if you are interested in studying abroad, you want to go to France or Italy or Greece, or you just want to get out of the country, right? Or your career that you may have chosen, you know that you're going to have to go out the country in order to do a few studies, right? Study abroad is a great way for you to do that. So you may want to look to see whether or not that college or university offers study abroad. There are some colleges and universities that have unusual academic calendars. Can we name one? I have one that came in mind for Pennsylvania. And it's actually one that they specialize in study abroad. So Chris and Nicole, do you know what that may be? Which one they may be? Which college or university? I'll give you a hint. It's a university.
Are we talking about Arcadia?
Well, Arcadia is one. Yep. Arcadia is a really good one. So Arcadia specializes in study abroad. They have a huge study abroad program. And I was thinking about, I don't know, Chris, I'm sorry to cut you off. Were you going to say something too?
No, I just think that's hilarious because I went to Arcadia University.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
and I was like,
LinkedIn, Chris.
Did you study abroad? Just out of curiosity, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I went to all the places you mentioned. You said France, Italy, and Greece. I went to all three of those.
Oh my goodness.
Plus Scotland is where I spent most of my time. And I did a short trip to Mexico as well. So that's when you said they specialize in study abroad, I was like, well, this is ringing some bells, but tell us about the unusual calendar. I'm interested in this.
Absolutely. So the unusual calendar, I thought about Drexel University, right? So they have, instead of like their fall semester and spring semester, they have it where I'm trying to think of the terminology for it, but basically they have it where students take time to do their internships. And then they have a segment of the academic calendar where they do their classes. The term for it is slipping me, but they have an unusual calendar where they leave time for students to actually get career experience through internships. Mm-hmm. And then they leave time for students to get academic preparation as well. So their calendar, Drexel University's calendar, is unusual.
And Colorado has an interesting schedule too. I think it's called the block schedule. And so those students take one class at a time. So they may take one class for a couple of weeks, for a couple of hours a day. And then when they finish that class, they move on to the next one.
Yes.
You know? So for some students that want to focus on one thing, that's great. And for other people, that just may drive them crazy. So it's definitely like, I'm glad you put that key in there for the students to look, because again, nobody thinks about looking for those things.
Absolutely. We don't consider those, but today we're going to consider all these factors when it comes to selecting your college or university, right? Right. All right. And then lastly, if you're undecided, you just want to pick a major that is a major or a program an institution that's well balanced, that has a huge range of programming for you to select from. I did mention that in the very, very beginning. You don't necessarily want to limit yourself if you don't know what you want to do yet, if you don't know what type of career exposure you want. So just make sure you're picking a college or university that has a well-balanced academic majors and programs for you. All right. The next factor that I want to talk about is accreditation. That is so important, and participation in the federal student aid program. I will say we are very lucky, and we are in a time where most colleges and universities are accredited, meaning that when you come out and you graduate with that degree and you decide to get a job, they're not going to say, hey, this degree is not valid because you did not get it from an accredited institution. Okay. You do, of course, just want to double check. And of course, just make sure that the school participates in the federal student aid program. So just to throw a question out there, and this kind of backtracks to some previous workshops that we had around financial aid. Where do you think you could possibly go to check to see whether or not that school participated in the federal student aid program? And I'll throw it out to Chris. Where do you think that a student will go? What website do you think they would go to in order to say, hey, does this school participate in getting me grants and loans in order for me to go to that college or university?
I feel like the answer is escaping me, but I do remember when we were talking about FAFSA that there was like, you could list certain schools. So
yes,
there might be a more direct place to go, but yeah, FAFSA, I feel like if you can't list your school there, that would be a red flag.
That is it. So FAFSA is definitely, I would say, one of the number one. It kind of comes close to, I was going to say like number one and number two, because you can always go on that college and university's website, of course, and they have frequently asked questions section. You can go into that section, and they usually break down different subjects that you can go into, and hopefully you'll find your answer there. So you can go to the website of that college university, or you can go to FAFSA.org in order to make sure that it's accredited and to make sure that it participates in the federal student aid program. Okay. That's it in a nutshell as far as this slide. You just want to make sure that the school that you go to is recognized by the U.S. Secretary of Education's office, right? So that when you come out with your degree, you're able to go out there and get the job, your dream job, the job that you always wanted, okay? You should be very cautious about considering any school that does not participate in the federal student aid program. Very, very cautious, okay? We don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste money. Definitely do not. All right, let's talk about campus life. So we talked about academic life. For me, campus life, of course, is just as important as academic life, right? Because you want to make sure that you are comfortable. You're going to be, if you're staying on campus, or even if you are commuting, you want to make sure that that campus is giving you the experience that you deserve. You're paying your money, you're putting your energies into going into this college university, and you want to make sure that you are getting the best experience you can get as possible. All right, so you want to be sure to consider that you consider your experience, what your experience will be like outside of the classroom. All right, so what type of extracurricular activities does this college and university have? We talked about that. If you play basketball in high school and you want to continue to play basketball in college, does that college or university have an athletics program? Okay. And that can go for different interests. If you Let's say you do cheerleading, the same thing. Does this program have, college university have a cheerleading program? Just think about some of the things that you are interested in your high school, and some of the things that you participate in your high school, and look at how that factors over into your college experience. Okay. And if you want to do the same thing when you're in college. Also, let's look at the community surrounding, right? For example, if religion is very important to you, okay, or being a part of an ethnic group is very important to you, does that college or university have programming that supports that? That's something for you to think about. All right. If you want to be a part of a sorority or a fraternity and you want to have that type of experience in your life, does that college or university offer that for you? Okay. I will stop and say, I'm going to challenge you though. I've actually had some students that have created their own communities on a college campus. They saw that there was not a particular activity happening on that college campus, and they actually took it upon themselves to create their own community on campus. So do not be discouraged. If you do your research and you see that that college or university does not have a community that may or may not support you, you can always create your own too. So don't be afraid to do that as well. All right. Let's talk about costs. That's one of my favorite things. You guys already know I love to talk about scholarships. I love to talk about financial aid because it's so important. At the end of the day, you are going to take out loans or scholarships or grants, and you want to make sure that this college is going to be the best fit for you, right? So that you're not wasting your time, and most importantly, you're not wasting money. You're not wasting money. Okay, so decide the value of a desired educational experience and how much sacrifice in terms of works and loans you are willing to make to obtain your goals. You want to look closely, work closely with financial aid officers at your college to make sure that you are getting the best college package possible, that you're getting the best financial aid package possible. If you are unfamiliar with how to do that, I would suggest that you go back to our financial aid workshop that is here on the Field Team Center's YouTube channel. I want you to take a look at that workshop. And we actually do an activity that breaks down financial aid, some of the financial aid that you will encounter on your financial aid package, and how to go about selecting the right type of financial aid for you. So make sure you check out that video as well. All right, so let's talk diversity. That's important as well, okay? Like we talked about before, some colleges are more inclusive, some colleges are more exclusive. So what does that mean? That means that some colleges, like for example, HBCUs that we mentioned, historically Black colleges and universities, we understand that they're going to have more of an inclusive ethnic group, right? There are other colleges that have more inclusive religious diversity, racial diversity, and vice versa, that have more exclusive, meaning that there are more people of different ethnic groups, more people of different religious diversities. So you want to look at what's going to be important to you and to consider what college and university is going to really be the best fit for you when it comes to diversity. Additionally, institution size is very important. We talk about this too, right? If you are looking to attend a college or university that is small means that you're going to have about under 3,000 students that are going to be attending that college, university, I shouldn't even say university, that college. Okay, that's what's considered small. So if you're okay with more of like a close-knit college experience, going into a small college may be for you. And once again, that means that there may be under 3,000 students in that particular college. Medium is 3,000 to 12,000 students that are going to be attending that college. Okay. We have large, so you'll have over 12,000 colleges. And when you're looking at large, you're looking at more universities, of course, because we have what? Undergraduate and graduate students that attend universities. So they tend to be larger and have over 12,000 students, if not more, that go to those those universities. Okay, so you want to think about what type of experience that you want to have. If you understand that more of a lecture style is not for you, and you have difficulties learning in that type of environment, going into a larger institution like a university may not be for you. Okay, if you're okay with that and you feel like you would be able to handle that, then you might want to look at that as a possibility, and vice versa. So you just want to look at, of course, the different size classes and the amount of students that actually go to that college or university to kind of determine how you fit in and if that's going to be the best fit for you. We have location too. This is a big one. So I'll use myself as an example. I grew up in Camden, New Jersey, which is a city, right? So I love the city. I'm a city girl. I love the city. I knew when I decided to go to college that I would have absolutely no problem being in a city. I did not want to go to a rural area, which means what? You have more farmland, you have more scarcity. There's not a lot of activities outside of that university or college. I knew that wasn't for me because I'm a city girl. I like the city. I did consider the suburbs because I do have family that live in the suburbs and I'm familiar with the suburbs. But for me, I knew that a city college would be best. So when I decided to look at colleges, I chose the University of Miami. I was not afraid to be in a big city. Miami is a big bustling city, right? I wasn't afraid to be around diversity. I knew that I wanted to go somewhere diverse. So I did not necessarily pick a HBCU or somewhere that was a little bit more inclusive, right? Financial aid was important to me. I got a scholarship to go to the University of Miami. So I automatically said, that's where I want to go because they offer me the best financial aid package. Okay. So I looked at all of these things. It's an accredited university. So I took all of these college fit factors and said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And I know that the University of Miami is going to be the best fit for me. And it was. And I did come out with my degree. Okay. So you want to do the same thing. Look at all of these college fit factors and look at your own experience of your life and see what would be best for you. Okay. So do you want to be in a city? Do you want to be in the suburbs? Or do you want to be in a rural area? You decide that. It's up to you to decide. Also, we talked about this before, retention and graduation rates. This is so important, guys. We spend all this time going through high school, right? You spend all this time, hopefully getting the best grades you can get, doing the best you can do, graduating, and going on to college, that college university. You want to finish, and you want to finish strong. You don't want to start and then stop, right? So you want to look at the retention and graduation rates of that college university. If there's a discrepancy and you see students that are coming in their freshman year and they're not graduating, they're leaving their junior year or sophomore year, there is some type of disconnect. It may be with the curriculum. It may be, it may be some factors within that college university that is stopping a student from performing successfully. They may not have the resources for students, right? Or vice versa. You do your research with some of the tools that I'm going to give you today, and you see that they have a larger retention and graduation rate. Okay, that means that they have what's needed to support that student throughout their college journey. And that is so, so important, guys, because we're spending our time and our money and our energy, and we want to make sure we come out on top. So these are some good retention and graduation rate factors. So if a college has a well-matched programming for students, that is a good indicator, meaning that you see that they have a diverse programming and you see that students are being matched and students are graduating with that particular degree. That is a good indicator. Okay. If they have significant class sizes and academic programmings that are available to students, meaning that they have a good variety of programming and academics, that is a good indicator. Okay. All right. And if they're responsible academically, socially, and financially, if those things are within that college or university, that is a good indicator that that's where you want to be. Okay. That you can apply for that college and that you have a good chance of graduating from that college. And like I said, don't worry. There are some tools that I'm actually going to show you today that'll actually do the work for you. All right. So you won't have to dig too hard. All right. So we're going to put all this together. So we're going to put all of these college fit factors together, and I'm going to give you some tools that you can utilize today to start to choose the best college for you. All right, so let's dive in. One of my favorite research tools, databases, is called CareerWise Education. I ran into this doing some research, and one of the reasons why I love this so much is because not only does it help you define what college and university that you may be interested in, but it actually helps you define what career path you may be interested in going into according to your personality type, which is one of the most important key factors too, right? So I actually have the website up here. So this is CareerWise. All right. And as you can see, they have quite a few assessments that we can do. If you want to explore your career, if you want to plan your education, and even once you get your degree, if you want to find a job, they're able to help you do all three things. So for our activity for today, our college fit activity, I wanted to take a short assessment to see what careers may be good for us to do according to our personality type. All right. And they have quite a few assessments, guys. They have a career assessment. You see interest assessment. They have quite a few assessments, but for today, we're going to just do a shorter assessment. All right, so let's go down and we are going to do the career cluster assessment. All right, but I do want you to really explore all of these things. But for today, we're going to do the career assessment. And it's going to take us about 5 to 10 minutes. So within 5 to 10 minutes, it'll ask you questions about your personality and what you like and what you don't like. And it'll actually give you some careers that may match up with what you want to do. All right, so I am going to put Chris on the spot, if you do not mind.
Not at all.
To see. So it says, check the activities that describe what you like to do. So I'll read some off. Adapt to change or perform a variety of duties that may change.
Oh no, I'm a Taurus, so that won't do.
Analyze information and interpret it for others.
We like that, yeah.
Be a leader or in a position of authority.
I guess that we'd have to check that too, yeah.
Yes. Be involved in politics.
Involved in politics? Probably not for me, but aware of politics. That was
aware, yeah. I totally understand that. Be outdoors in all kinds of weather.
No.
Okay. Budget and handle money and records.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's a good.
Care about people, their needs and their problems.
Definitely.
Concentrate for long periods of time without being distracted.
Sadly not.
Yeah. Design brochures or posters.
Not really.
Design efficient processes.
Yeah. Click that one too.
Direct and plan activities for others.
I do that all the time. Yep. Let's check it.
All right. Do routine, organized or accurate work.
Definitely.
Drive or ride.
I guess not.
I mean,
no.
drive, like if you, do you mind driving?
Like drive a, I actually don't have a license, so that would be illegal for me.
Explore new technology.
Yeah, let's check that one.
All right. Figure out how things work or investigate new ways.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Find the answers to questions.
I'm a librarian, so definitely.
Find the best way or new way to do something.
Yeah, that sounds great too.
All right.
I might be clicking too many things.
That's okay. That's okay. It's a computer, so it's gonna factor it out for you. Follow logical step-by-step procedures.
Yeah, let's check that one as well.
Okay. Give presentations, enjoy public speaking.
I'm here right now, but let's not check that.
Handle several responsibilities at once.
I don't like to, but I can, so I guess we'll check it.
Okay. All right. Have a flexible schedule.
Yeah, let's check it. Why not?
Help others learn new things.
Definitely.
All right. Help people make up their minds.
Yep, let's do that.
And help people overcome their challenges to be at their best. Like that.
Let's check that as well.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right. All right. So this is part 2. You like to attend health and science classes or workshops.
No, let's skip that.
Help sick people and animals.
Let's skip that.
Hunt or fish.
No.
Learn about cultures and meet different kinds of people.
Let's check that one.
Learn how things grow and stay alive.
Actually, yeah, let's check that one too.
Listen to other people's viewpoints.
Yes, let's check that.
Make business contact with people.
Yeah, okay.
Make decisions based on observations.
Yeah, let's check that as well.
Make visual displays to promote ideas.
Skip.
Move things from one place to another.
Also skip.
Negotiate, defend, and debate ideas and topics.
Let's check that one.
All right. Observe and analyze people's behaviors.
Yes.
Participate in community service and volunteering.
Yeah, let's do that one too.
Perform detailed work that requires precise or tangible results.
Detailed. Yeah, let's do that.
Perform creative, artistic activities.
Nope. Now we're going to skip that one.
Persuade people to buy products or to participate in activities.
That's interesting. I feel like those are 2 different things, but let's check it because participate in activities is the thing. Yeah.
Picture in my mind what a finished product looks like.
Let's skip that one. I don't really get that one.
Plan work and follow instructions without close supervision.
Yeah, let's check that.
Play a musical instrument.
Let's skip that one.
Play video games and figure out how they work.
Definitely. Let's check that.
Promote or communicate ideas and informations to different types of people.
Yeah, let's check that.
Protect the environment.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. Put things together.
Let's skip that.
Read and write. I would hope so.
Yep. We'll check that one. Yep.
Yes. Respect and follow rules and regulations.
Sure.
All right. Respond quickly and calmly in emergencies.
Yeah, let's do that as well.
All right. I promise you guys we're almost done. I think we have it's like this one and in the next one. All right. Shop and go to the mall.
Yeah, let's check that. We'll check that.
Solve technical or mechanical problems.
No.
Take advantage of opportunities to make extra money.
Okay.
Take classes or workshops.
Yeah.
Travel and explore new things.
Definitely.
Understand and follow instructions and or blueprints.
Sure.
Use existing facts to predict or anticipate needs and prepare for them.
Yeah, let's check that one too.
You want to use your logic and information to make decisions or solve complex problems.
How complex? Let's skip that one.
You skip that one. Yep.
Yeah,
Use my eyes and quick reflexes. So use your body.
No, let's skip that one.
Use the Earth's natural resources.
No, we'll leave them where they are.
use tools or operate equipment, machinery, or repair machinery.
No, let's skip that.
Use video and recording technology.
Again, we're here, but let's skip that.
Visit and learn from beautiful, historic, and interesting buildings.
Yeah, that one sounds nice.
Visualize objects in 3 dimensions from flat drawings.
No.
Work cooperatively with others as a member of a team.
Yeah, let's definitely check that one.
Work in a laboratory.
No.
Work to meet a deadline.
Sure.
Work under pressure or in face of danger.
No, thank you.
Work with and interact with all ages and types of people.
Yeah, let's do that one. And we can also do computers. Yeah.
Yes. Work with your hands.
Yeah, let's check that one. It didn't say build machinery, so we can
work with and interpret numbers or formulas to come up with solutions.
Let's skip that one.
So let's do check activities that describe what you like to do. Are you adventurous?
No.
Caring?
Yes.
Community minded?
I believe so.
Compassionate?
Yes.
Competitive?
Let's pretend like I'm not.
Conscientious and careful?
Definitely.
Coordinated?
Yes.
Creative and imaginative?
Maybe, but let's skip it. Let's just see what happens if I skip it.
Okay. Creative problem solver?
I think that's more likely. Yeah.
Curious?
Yes.
Curious about new technology?
Yep.
Decision maker?
I have to be.
So yes.
Let's do decision maker, but let's skip decisive. I think that'll be fun.
Okay. Dependable?
Definitely.
Detail oriented?
Yes.
Determined? Tenacious?
Yes. Yeah.
Enthusiastic?
Mm-hmm.
Friendly?
I think so.
Good at following directions?
Yes.
Good at visualizing possibilities?
Yes. This is saying I have a very high opinion of myself, I think.
Good communicator?
I think so, yeah.
Good concentration skills?
Let's skip this one.
Good listener?
Actually, let's skip that one too. Let's just see what happens.
Helpful?
I think I'm helpful, yeah.
Innovative? Inquisitive?
Yeah, let's check that one as well. I just clicked like all of them. So at the end, I was like, let's skip a few.
All right, guys. So we're halfway there. All right, we're halfway there. But I want you guys to really do this because it'll help you a lot with thinking about other careers that you may not have thought about that match who you are. Okay, Chris. So logical, analytical thinker.
Yes, let's check that.
Mechanical? No. I remember saying nope.
No.
Methodical or efficient?
Let's skip.
Nature lover?
Yeah.
Non-judgmental?
Uh-oh. Skip.
Non-materialistic?
Skip.
Objective?
Skip.
Observant?
That's what they get me. I have both of those two, definitely. Yeah.
Orderly, organized?
Both of those.
Outgoing, patient?
I think so, yeah. Patient and persistent are different things. Let's skip that one.
Okay. Pay attention to detail?
Yes.
All right. Persuasive?
Let's skip that one.
Planner, practical?
Let's click practical.
Precise and accurate?
I think so, yeah.
Problem solver, realistic?
Yep. Both of those.
Relate well to the feelings and thoughts of others?
Let's check it.
Okay. See details in big picture?
Yeah, I think so.
Self-confident.
Well, now we have to click self-confident.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Oh my goodness. Okay. Self-motivated, self-reliant.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at most of these, I feel like are yes.
Yes. So self-motivated, self-reliant,
yeah.
service-minded, slow to anger.
Slow to anger. Yeah.
Step-by-step thinker.
I think so. I did like a personality test with that one time. I can't remember.
Okay.
Still, but yeah.
Tactful, trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's check all these ones actually.
Okay. All right.
They're going to be like, you gave us too much information.
All right. School subjects that you're interested in, that you were interested in or currently interested in. Accounting.
Yes, let's. Oh, I don't want to go through the whole list. Let's just pick ones I know. Let's do English.
Okay. Let's see.
Yep. Definitely English. Literature and writing. Okay. And that's it.
Okay. No, it's cool.
They don't have library science on here, so.
I know. Okay. Nothing on here.
You know, let's click psychology. I think that'll be fun too.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, here we go. So took us about 10 minutes, right? 8-10 minutes, but guess what? Now we have our career clusters. Education and training, Chris. Hello.
See, the system works.
See, listen, as a teacher, you can influence young lives. You could also support the work of a classroom as a teacher, librarian, or principal. Hello.
Amazing.
Amazing. You can also do hospitality and tourism. They talked about law, public safety, and security. And then they also go into different clusters within these three careers. So at the bottom, it kind of talks about the different things you can do within those careers. Okay. So for time, we're not going to go into all of these, but as you can see, it took us about like 8 to 10 minutes. And guess what? We came out with a career cluster that you can take and utilize to say, hey, I never thought about doing this, or wow, I did think about doing this, and this career assessment is dead on. And I'm going to use this to pick out the type of career I want, look at the college fit, right? And look to see whether that college or university has that career that you're interested in. So I thought that would be a cool activity. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So College Navigator is similar system. Okay. It's a search engine, once again, that helps you pick out your school according to criteria, such as whether or not your school is like I said, is accredited, whether or not your school has certain academic programming, okay, SAT, ACT scores that college is looking at, okay. So this is another search engine that you can use. And just for time's sake, I'm not going to go in detail within each of these databases, but I wanted to give you these databases for you as homework for you to take home and be able to do your own research on your college fit factors. So College Navigator is definitely one of those. Okay. College Scorecard is amazing. College Scorecard I love because remember we talked about those retention rates, right? Retention meaning whether or not that student is starting that college and whether or not they are graduating that college. College Scorecard is one of those databases that will give you that accurate information. Okay. And like those fit factors that we talked about, you put your fit factors into the database and it will match colleges that match what you are looking for. The location, the size, the type of college. It will actually spit out colleges for you to take an interest in. So this is definitely another database. College Results Online is also a great resource for you. One of the reasons why I added this on is because not only does this particular database give you 4-year college results, but 5- and 6-year college results, college rate results. So if you're thinking about going into graduate school and looking at a graduate school to attend, collegeresults.org would be a great resource for you to utilize. If you know that not only do you want to do an undergraduate degree, but you also want to get your graduate degree as well. Okay, so this is definitely a great resource for you. All right, so we did our assessment. All right, just a few takeaways before I pass this on to Nicole, our expert college planning resident. So these are some takeaways, right? I want you to utilize these databases that we went over briefly. I want you to look at those college fit factors. We talked about 10. And I want you to put together a list of colleges, okay? And I want you to categorize them according to level. So level 3 is like target college or university, which means that admission probability is high and your credentials are very competitive. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that target, when you think about a target, you think about hitting it dead on, right? That means that you have the ACT and SAT scores, you have the GPA, it has the major that you're looking for. It's in the area that you're interested in, right? All of these things is pretty much like a slam dunk. You want to list some of those colleges. Then you want to list colleges that you have like a 50-50 chance of getting into, meaning that, let's say, for example, you may have the GPA, but your SAT scores might have been a little bit off. That's okay. You still want to list those colleges. And then also your competitive or reach colleges. Okay, that means that your credentials are not as strong as other students that may be admitted into that school, and that's okay. Okay, the reason why I want you to do this is because when you apply for FAFSA or financial aid, you're only able to list 10 colleges and universities on your financial aid application. Only 10. Okay, I don't even want you to list 10. I want you to really narrow it down, but you're only able to list 10. And you want to make sure that the colleges and universities that you are listing have the best college fit for you, meaning that either they're on level 3 or level 2. Level 3 or level 2. Okay. You want to make sure we really want to get level 3, but you can put a few level 2 in there and of course take a chance on yourself. Okay. But you want to make sure that you are selecting the best college or university that you know that you're going to be able to thrive in. Also, you want to do a campus visit. Okay. Use LinkedIn to talk to students that may have gone to the college or university that you're interested in. Okay. Talk to admissions officers within that college or university. Talk to college alumni. I'll go back again. LinkedIn is a great resource for you to be able to talk to college alumni and talk to college students that may be going to the college or university that you may be interested in. Also, talk to your faculty, counselors at your high school and your parents to get their advice on what may be the best fit for you as well. Okay. All right. So I know that was a lot. I hope that you really took away some golden nuggets, especially when it comes to utilizing those databases and utilizing those current high school experiences for you to pick out the best college that is going to fit you. All right. So the next thing I want to do is turn this over to Nicole Renee. She, like I said, she is our college planning expert. And today I wanted her to give you some tips and some tools that you can utilize to start to plan your college experience from freshman year all the way to your senior year of high school. All right. So without further ado, I'll give it over to Ms. Nicole. All right. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right. Now, how do I stop? Now, see, this, I should have took the career assessment because you would know that technology is, is not my thing.
There should be a button at the bottom
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Something that-
Stop video, stop participation. We're gonna more. Stop share.
We got there.
All right, so thank you guys so much for having me back again. I always enjoy speaking to this group every year. And I miss going downtown to the library because sometimes I go and get some things to eat after the trip there. Can't tell you about the last trip. I'll tell you that offline. But thank you again for having me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then if you can just drop in the chat for me, I dropped a little message in there for you. I want to make sure that I do everything correctly here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys can see my screen. Okay, awesome. So thank you guys for again having me come. So my name is Nicole Renee, and I have been working with students, high school and middle school students for over 20 years. So I've worked in Allentown School District. I've worked with students in groups in Philadelphia, and now I'm currently in the Norristown Area School District. And of course, I also do consulting outside of school. So just very quickly, I went to Lincoln University since we've been talking about HBCUs, and graduated from there with a degree in psychology. And then on the total opposite end of the spectrum, got my master's degree at Lehigh University. I also have a book called Being Proactive is the Key, which you can get on Amazon, which actually is going to tell you a lot about some of the topics that I will be discussing today. So especially if you have students or if you are a student in the ages of grades of 6 to 12, it gives you a lot of keys in there to help you get started. So I'm going to go ahead and move right on in here and get started. All right. And then if you need to contact me, here is my information, my Instagram handle, and my website that you can connect and get some really great information. All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. And Chris and Aisha, I might lean on you to tag team a little bit with a couple of the exercises that I have here. So again, I told you that my main job during the day used to be a school counselor. Now I'm a college and career counselor at a local high school. So every day I'm helping students and parents get ready for college. So Aisha did a great job of talking to you guys about all of the steps that you need to go through to actually begin your college search and getting into college. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is what to do in the very, very beginning to even get to those steps. So there is a quote or phrase that a guy who wrote a great book named Stephen Covey, in his books, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about one of these habits, beginning with the end in mind. So especially for those of you who are on the line and you are in like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, you still have some time to really begin to start planning and thinking about what you want to do at the end. What is your plan? Everyone has different plans for post-graduation. And so it's very important that you guys start early. And what does that mean? One of the main things that you want to make sure that you do is build relationships with the people in your school, your teachers, your counselors, your coaches, people that you have extracurricular activities with. And when we say extracurricular activities, we mean sports, we mean clubs, we mean work out in a community. If you are part of a church or a synagogue or a mosque and you do things with those organizations, if you volunteer anywhere. Also nowadays, especially on the Common Application, which a lot of students use to do their applications for college, they also have a space on there for you if you have to pick up your siblings after school and babysit, because many students cannot participate in extracurricular activities or work. And so there's actually a space on that application for you guys to note those things, right? So you're building relationships with all of these people. One, because they're going to give you some great advice. And two, they're going to give you a great recommendation. And so students need letters of recommendations when they apply to college. So that's why you want to start that early. You want to also make sure that you are in the appropriate classes. So even if you are a student that gets straight A's every year, that does not necessarily mean that you are in the appropriate classes. It just means that you are knocking out the classes that you are in. And so if you have straight A's and you don't have any honors or advanced placement classes, you might want to talk to your teacher or your counselor to see if those are some classes that may be appropriate for you. Now, myself in high school, I did not take any honors classes because I was afraid of getting a B, or none of my friends were in those classes. And those aren't really great reasons as to why I wasn't in those classes. And if you get a B in those classes, it's like getting an A in a regular class, right? And so those are some things that you want to talk about. You want to challenge yourself, because colleges, when they begin looking at your transcripts, and a transcript is pretty much a big report card. And a transcript has all of your final grades in every class on it. And so there's no individual marking period grades on it. It's just that final grade. So they will be looking to see what types of classes you have all the way in ninth grade. And so that's very important for you to think about. Okay, and then Ms. Aisha talked about finding the best options to pay for college and reduce your student debt. And again, getting these good grades, that is one of the key ways that you can reduce student debt, because that's what you're going to need to get some of the better scholarships, are the really good grades and those challenging classes. All right. And for those of you who are STEM students, the science, technology, engineering, and math students, you want to make sure that you set up your schedule early for math topics, right? And so if you're taking Algebra 1, so let's say you want to be an engineer, you want to go into any kind of engineering. Well, in most cases, they want you to have calculus in 12th grade. Well, if you start ninth grade taking Algebra 1, and let's say you have a regular schedule of 7 or 8 periods a day, that means in ninth grade, you will have Algebra 1. 10th grade, you'll either have Algebra 2 or geometry. Then the next year, you will have Algebra 2 or geometry. And then in your senior year, you will have pre-calculus. But Ms. Aisha talked about those highly selective colleges, especially if you're going into engineering, they will be looking for you to have calculus, something called AB calculus or something called BC calculus, and you won't be able to do that. So if you are that high level math student and maybe you just didn't get that jump, then you do need to talk to your counselor to see if one of those years you can double up on the math class. Or if you do have block scheduling, then one semester you take Algebra 1 and then the other semester you take something else, okay? And then the last reason why you want to start early, and this is what I've been talking about with my students all year, especially because of COVID and how stressed everyone is, just being in COVID, from being at home and all that other stuff. The college application process is stressful because there are so many different pieces. And I know Miss Chris can tell you, Miss Aisha can tell you, we're old. So back in the day when we applied to college, we probably only applied to 1 or 2 schools. We didn't have all this Common App stuff, all of these different things that you guys have to do. And so that stress level is very high. And so if you guys will just start early and do little bits and pieces as you go along, then when your senior year comes, you'll be ready. You'll be done in September, October, while you're sitting there watching all of your friends. Hopefully you'll help them out, right? All right, so let's get started. So again, we talked about the students who want to go into STEM fields. They want to look at calculus, AB, BC, physics, and statistics. So the reason why I have this random slide here, even though all fields of a study are important, these classes you usually have to take prerequisites before you get here. So especially if you are a student here that's in middle school, 8th or 9th grade, talk to your counselor to see what you can do to be able to have these classes done by the time you get into 12th grade. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is to do a couple of things. We are going to talk about things that you should be doing each year to get ready. And we also are going to have some little exercises in between that I'm definitely going to employ Chris and Aisha to get their help, right? So for freshman year, I've kind of split these up into 3 categories: preparation, skill building, and academics. So ninth grade, you're really just trying to get used to being in high school. No more holding hands and with your classmates and walking in a single file line down the hallway and all those different things, right? You have a big building with different floors and you're on your own to get there after you have that orientation. And so to get ready, you want to make sure, especially over your summers, that you take time to increase your reading skills, your writing, and your math skills. It could be booklets that you can get from the library or teacher stores or Walmart or Target, wherever you go. So some people may say, oh my gosh, that's so boring. Why would I want to do that? Well, if you increase your reading skills, it's going to help you do better on the ACT or the SAT. It's going to help you do better in all of your classes, right? So you want to take some time and do those things. At some point during the year, you want to make some time and reach out to your counselor. Don't wait for your counselor to reach out to you. So again, I told you I've been doing this for a long time. And to be honest, the students that get the best recommendations from me are the ones that reach out to me in 9th and 10th grade, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. Like, you're so young and you're reaching out, you have your questions. And I'll write all of those things in that letter of recommendation for that particular student, okay? You want to also explore if you want to attend the technical school the next year. And so right around this time of year, which is December, and around December, January, or February in high school, you're going to start planning your schedule for next year. So some of you guys may want to look at going to the tech school to see if you want to go into culinary arts, to see if you want to go into auto body, if you want to go into early childhood, networking, cosmetology, health occupations. There's so many different areas that you can look at. And so some students may work right after school, high school. Some students may go to a trade or technical school after high school. And some students may go to a 2-year or a 4-year college. And so for my students, especially who are in health occupations, early childhood, culinary, that experience that they get at the tech school really provides a lot of extra boost to their application because they've already had hands-on practice, okay? Some of you guys may think about going into the armed services. So you might want to get involved in ROTC if your school has that, okay? And then again, some of you may want to work directly after high school. And so you want to talk to your counselors to see what options they have as far as employment and connections in the community, okay? You also want to think about attending college fairs and open houses in your area. So I know, again, it's 9th grade. Oh my gosh, that's so super early. But again, we talked about that phrase, to begin with the end in mind. Okay, so it's just to get the experience of going to those tables and talking to people and looking, because I'm going to tell you, especially when COVID, I'm not going to say COVID is over because I don't know if it's going to be here forever or what, but Chris was like, no, it's not. When you get to go to one of those big college fairs downtown in Philadelphia or wherever you are, those college fairs are huge. And sometimes they can be very intimidating because Aisha and I have done a lot of them together. But if you start practicing 9th and 10th grade, just by the time 12th grade comes around, it's not going to be a big deal at all. All right. You also want to make sure you get involved in extracurricular activities in your school. And I talked about that a little bit earlier. You want to start thinking about the subjects that you enjoy, start thinking about summer jobs, internships. And so you can see some of the other items that we have here. But one of the main things that I want you to make sure that you pay attention to is to focus on doing your best that 9th grade year. Because with all of the changes, again, you're not holding your friends' hands and walking down the hallways anymore, okay? You're going to be more independent. And so if you start off with a solid grade point average that very first year, then you can just try to maintain that and or increase that every year. But when you start off with a terrible grade point average, it is so hard to pull that up. So you want to make sure that you focus and do your best work in ninth grade. And if you're able to take any of those honors and AP classes, that will give a boost to your grade point average, okay? So we talked about a transcript earlier. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to look at a real transcript. So let me explain this to you quickly. So if you're talking about getting any scholarships for college, there are two lead indicators that they are looking for your scholarships applications. Now, there are plenty of scholarships that you don't need grades for, but the better ones, they want to see those numbers. All right. So a 4.0 is like a super ideal GPA that you want to shoot for. That's a straight A. If you have honors and AP classes, that 4.0 could be a 4.2, 4.6, etc. 3.5 is like the bare minimum that you want to look at to getting into those more selective colleges, right? 3.0 is a nice bare minimum GPA that you want to get some of the better scholarships, okay? Because they're going to look for a 3.0 and above, okay? And then 2.3 is a minimum GPA that you want to look at if you are thinking about playing Division I and Division II sports, because you have to have that 2.3 to be able to play Division I or Division II sports. All right. All right. So let's look at a transcript. So this transcript obviously is amazing. So we're going to take a couple of seconds and look at it. And Chris and Aisha, if you have any observations at all, definitely chime in about what you see. And so while they're looking, I will explain this transcript to you. Every school's transcript looks different, but a lot of them do look like this because I've seen tons of them. So if you look over here in the top left corner, that is the ninth grade year. The right-hand corner is the 10th grade year. Bottom left is 11th grade. Bottom right is 12th grade, okay? And remember I told you that all of the classes are listed here with just the final grade. Your school may have regular, just A, B, C, D. They may have pluses and minuses on them. Some classes may have a P for pass or fail. And then you also see a column for how many credits the student has been awarded. So if you see here half a credit, that means it was a half-year class, right? And so here at the bottom, you see the student received a 4.125 GPA in this bottom section in the top left-hand corner, and they received 8 credits. So transcripts typically have the grade point average and credits for each year on them. And then at the bottom, there's a cumulative down here at the bottom where this long blue bar is, and there's a rank there. And then there are also some SAT scores here at the bottom. So it depends on what school you go to. Some schools put the test scores on there and some schools do not. We used to put test scores on our transcripts, but now because of COVID and the fact that students can go test optional, we're not putting test scores on the transcripts. And so the students are sending them in themselves if they want to use them.
Thank you so much for that information, Nicole. Not to cut you off, sorry. But thank you for that information, because that was actually going to be one of my questions with the test optional. How does that relate to the transcript? So thank you so much for that. And also the 0.5, I had questions about that too. Like, what does that mean? So thank you so much for clarifying that as well.
Yep. So what observations do you ladies have about this transcript and the type of student this student may be? And actually, let me explain a couple of more things too. So you see on here that some of these classes, you see a WH. That means weighted honors. So those students have weighted honors classes, right? And you may see AP, that means advanced placement. And this student has AP Calculus AB. Remember, we talked about that for the person who might want to go into engineering. This student already has that class in 11th grade already, okay? And so I think those are all the special codes there. And remember that we said that if you have an AP or an honors class, it boosts your grade point average up a little bit more. All right. So any other observations, ladies?
I would just say that this student is very, they take their education very seriously. Just looking at their grade point average and how consistent it has been. over the last, I would say 3 years, because I see that for the senior year, we don't have a GPA yet, and we don't have information about their grades, but just from freshman to junior year in high school, that the student has been very consistent with taking classes and doing well in their classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look like they're in a really good spot.
Yes, so this so there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you guys. So one, Aisha made a very great point about this last box that does not have a grade point average. So as a senior, when your transcript is sent out to a college, they will list the roster of what you have for that particular year. So they want to see that you have a roster that reflects what you've been doing. So if you've been carrying 3 or 4 honors AP classes every year, they're expecting to see 3 or 4 honors AP classes for that senior year or more. If they see you've been doing honors in AP the whole time and then 12th grade, you have none, they're going to think some nice, not so nice things about you. So you want to make sure that you're consistent. Also, you see on the right-hand side that it says, don't be afraid of the B's, right? And so, of course, we want you to get straight A's, but you're not going to, everyone is not going to get straight A's in everything. And you see that this student has B's every year. And magically, their grade point average is higher than a 4.0. And that is the power of those honors and AP classes. All right. So just be mindful of that. So I'm going to skip on to the next. Sophomores, again, in sophomore year, is kind of the same as freshmen, but we're going to change it a little bit. We're going to do preparation, skill building, and academic skill. At this point, guys, you're now going to have these summer reading projects that you have to do. Oh my gosh, students hate doing those things, but guess what? You have to do them. So some people don't do them and they think that they're magically going to disappear and their teacher is going to get a heart and not evaluate that information. Guess what? Your teacher is going to evaluate that information. And in a lot of cases, that summer reading project may be a huge chunk of your grade. So take that seriously. So you also want to look at taking the PSAT or the pre-ACT 10, okay? Missed the bullet here. You want to make sure that you create a college board account to research careers, colleges, and test prep. And so they have a link that's similar to one of the links that Miss Aisha shared with you. And they have something on there called Big Future. And they just redid it a couple of years ago. And it is a very good app. You can do all kinds of research and it'll do a deep dive and even connect you to LinkedIn. So that's a really great tool for you guys. You want to make sure you continue going to those college fairs, continue those extracurricular activities, and beef up those leadership positions, okay? So colleges want to see your extracurriculars. Now, everybody wants to have a big, long list of extracurricular activities. Seriously, nobody can really do that, right? They want to see quality. So if they see that you have 3 or 4 or 5 quality activities that you have done consistently over time, you have some leadership positions in there, those are the things that they want to see. So focus more on that than just creating 40 activities, okay? You want to make sure, again, that you keep those relationships going with those teachers because you need that letter of recommendation. Of course, we want to have relationships to have them, but listen, we're trying to get those recommendations, right? You want to look at these summer jobs and internships, all right? Continue working on that your GPAs and challenging yourself, okay? So let's look at another transcript, which I just skipped over. So we'll just go straight to juniors. Okay, now the junior year is where it starts to get a little thick. Okay, so now in this junior year, after you have taken some classes, taken some electives to see, some other things that you might want to dibble and dabble with, you want to start creating a preliminary college list. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be 50 schools because again, you're just chipping away. You're taking things off, you're putting things on. You want to definitely take the PSAT in 10th grade, but take it again definitely in 11th grade, because one is going to prep you for the SAT so that you can have experience taking a timed test so that you can see what those questions are like. And also they'll give you your results back so that you can see where your strengths and weaknesses lie. So when that test comes, you'll be ready. But also If you do well on the SAT, you can compete for the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. And so I have a student last year that did very well on this test, and they had a full ride to a college because they did well on the test. And so there are some colleges that will give full rides. And when I say full ride, I'm talking about tuition, room, and board if you do well on those tests. Okay. Now, the school was in Texas. This person never visited that school, but they said, hey, it's free. I guess I'll be going to Texas. Okay. You want to take the ASVAB test for students who are thinking about going into the armed services. But even if you're not thinking about going into the armed services, the ASVAB test will give you some very good results to see if you have certain types of skills. There may be certain jobs that are looking for certain scores on the ASVAB test. There are also, and locally, we have something called Williamson Trade School, where we have students that go there for free, right? And they have to take the ASVAB test to see where they score to be placed in certain programs there. So it's just a good tool to have. Okay, so you see some of the same things there, the college fair. Also, representatives from colleges will start visiting your school, right? And they will start allowing you to go in 11th and 12th grade. 11th grade is the best time for you to go so that you can kind of get your list down and refine that list, okay? Also, if you're thinking about playing Division I or Division II sports in college, then you want to look at applying to the NCAA Eligibility Center, creating an account there so that when people are scouting you, they'll have your information. All right. You also want to start visiting some colleges, booking some tours. And by then, you should know that grade point average. Continue to do your best at junior year so that you can curate that list. And start challenging yourself with those things. You want to get a copy of your transcript from your counselor. All right. And then some other things here. You want to meet with your counselor, do your research, start requesting information from colleges. You're going to get too much mail, right? So a lot of that mail you can just throw in the trash. Some people feel guilty. This college wants me. I'm not trying to be mean, but they don't they don't want you because they're sending you mail, right? Their job is to get you at their school, okay? So we want you, we know you're fabulous, but they don't know that yet. Okay, so just make sure that you discern all of that mail that you get, okay? Also, again, you want to start building some deeper connections with your guidance counselor or your school counselor so that you can start researching your lists and begin that serious college search. And then you also want to start taking AP exams if you have AP classes, taking the SAT between December and June. You want to make sure you take the test at least twice, the SAT and or the ACT, just to see how well you do. But don't send your scores to any colleges until you get your score, okay? Some of you guys may also be eligible for fee waivers at your school. So see your counselor to see if you are eligible. And then the last thing for juniors is you want to make sure that any essays that you do for your teachers, especially graded writing samples, hold on to those because some colleges will ask you for those in lieu of test scores. All right. So we only got a few more seconds. I just want to show you maybe one more transcript. We're going to skip this one. Well, actually, we'll look at this one very quickly. So this transcript here, this student does have some honors classes, some AP classes, some A's, some B's, and some C's. But they still were magically able to pull off a 3.65 grade point average with some of those C's. So of course, we're not telling you to get C's, but if you can take a closer look, the student has C's in math classes. The student is just not a math person. And so that means that the student really should not be majoring in anything in college related to heavy math. That's all that means. So they shouldn't be penalized because they have a subject that's just not their thing, okay? Now this student got right under that 2.9, right? And they did have some D's in here as well. And I think those D's are also in math as well. But this student was also heavy into music. So for my music and my art people, this is a habit that I see. Sometimes you guys get so caught into your art and your music that you forget you have other classes, right? And so if you're trying to go to college, colleges want to see grades in those other classes. They want to see you excel. And so just make sure that you keep those up. But also, this particular student also was dealing with some health issues as well, and some personal family issues that did affect them at school every day. And so this person knew me well. And so when I did the recommendation, I included that information in there with their permission, and then reached out to the colleges to explain this student really is college material, but due to X, Y, and Z, this is what has happened. So this student has gone to college, just graduated from college this year, and has a job this year. Okay, so they made it work. All right, now I'm going to go on to senior year and we'll be done. So senior year, all the tops have changed. Preparation and everything is about execution, execution, execution. You know, so you want to make sure that you meet with your counselors to review credits, to make sure that you can graduate, okay? You want to make sure that you take the common application, which is a general application that most students use to do their applications. And so you do one application is pretty long, and it does open in the summertime. So just do little bits at a time. But then once you get that application done, then you can check off up to 20 schools and just submit different things that they want you to submit. You want to definitely seek out those scholarships. You want to talk about if you're going to do test optional or not. You want to talk to your counselors to find out what their process is. How do you request transcripts? How long do they have to send those things out for you guys? And also, even though colleges evaluate you and accept you off of grades 9, 10, and 11, they do want to see those first marking period grades, especially now during COVID and for the next couple of years during COVID, because a lot of people's grades decline. And so they want to see how you're doing while you're physically in school. Okay. We talked about meeting with those counselors, getting an official copy of your transcript. Ms. Aisha already talked about the FAFSA. Now we're getting down to the brown nosing of making those relationships with those teachers, because now we need those recommendations from these teachers so that they can say wonderful things about you and your character and your habits in school. Okay. You want to make sure that you get most of your applications, if not all of them, done by Thanksgiving. That is not an official deadline, but that's the deadline that most of us counselors like to give. So that way you can take a couple of naps, right? And then start really working on those scholarship applications. Because the scholarship applications that you really want to focus your most attention on are those local scholarships that come to your school, because it's less people to compete with. And most of those start rolling in December. You want to pay attention to your deadlines, especially if you're thinking about going early decision or early action. Early decision is a binding contract, and you really only want to do that if this is the only school that you've ever wanted to go to since kindergarten and finances are not an issue. Other than that, I try to get everyone to do early action because you don't have to make a commitment. Okay. You want to make sure that you attend any portfolio days for art people or do your auditions for music school. So, and also if you want to go into nursing, those 3 areas always have an extra step and layer that they have to do to get into schools. All right. And so you can see here on the screen, there are a number of other things that you want to do. Some of them are kind of repetition, just following up with the recruiters, with your counselors, doing a resume, going to financial aid night. Now, the last column, and then we're done. The last execution. If you don't remember anything else that we talked about, this for me is what I harp to my students about. And they roll their eyes all the time, but don't say I didn't tell you. May 1st, you have until May 1st to make a decision where you're going to go to school. You're going to get tons of letters from these schools saying, hey, we need your deposit. Hey, we need your deposit. Hey, we need your deposit. You don't have to pay that until May 1st. It's a national deadline. However, May 1st is no longer mandatory anymore. Okay, that just changed this year. But most schools are still sticking to May 1st. So if there's any school that requires it earlier than that, it has to put that in writing in the letter that they send you. Okay, so make sure that you go through all of your financial aid applications, award letters, and make sure that you talk to someone that you trust to help you go through those things. Let your counselor know your first choice of school, and make sure you go to student orientation and summer orientation. Don't make that the first time that you set foot on campus, because that could be a problem, because you may get there and decide you don't like it. All right. So that's also why you want to do those tours and do those college visits to see what's going on. You want to reach out to your counselor at the end of the school year to make sure they send a final transcript to your college, because you cannot take your classes, or in some cases, even move into your dorm until they have that. Okay. And then last thing, continually checking your email for updates and financial aid information, because there are a number of students that do all of these steps that I told you about, all the steps that Miss Aisha talked to you about, and then they don't get their things finalized and they end up not going to school. All right, but that's not going to be you, because you're going to be checking that. You're going to be reaching out to people that you trust to make sure that that gets done. All right. And that is what I have for you guys in that section. So thank you so much for listening to that. And again, if you need to get in contact with me, you can reach me at collegeandcareernetwork.com. And again, on Instagram at College and Career Network.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Nicole. I learned so much today. I did not even realize that the senior year that you didn't have your GPA and information available on your transcript. So that's something that I learned today. And about the decision day, that they changed that rule. So thank you so much for this powerful presentation. So we're going to quickly conclude. I want to just share my screen again quickly and just talk about our upcoming workshop that we have. Just want to make sure I mention that to everyone. We have a college prep series that's going to be happening throughout May. So I want to make sure that you attend. All right. Our next workshop will be scholarships, my favorite topic, guys. Favorite topic. And Chris does not even know this yet, but I'm going to have one of my colleagues from Sallie Mae. She's going to be presenting with me and talking about one of the newer scholarship databases that Sallie Mae has available for you to have scholarships come to your email. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be Saturday, January 15th, 2022. Okay, you want to make sure that you register at teencenter@freelibrary.org. And as always, if you have any pending college prep questions, feel free to email me at info@thealexanderadvantage.com. And also you can follow me on YouTube as well as Instagram. All right. So that concludes our presentation for the day for College Fit and Planning. I hope you enjoyed it and took some great nuggets home with you that you can apply today.
Thank you so much, Aisha and Nicole, for being here. We appreciate your expertise and your knowledge so much.
You got it.